Hello, everyone. Welcome to the first episode of Media Minds Season 2, where we will take you on an interesting journey inside the minds and lives of some of the biggest marketers, advertisers, and publishers of today's time in India. We were very lucky and fortunate to have some of the biggest industry leaders here with us on Season 1, where we interacted with names like Ashish Bhasin from Dentsu, Anita Nayyar, who was formerly with Havas and now is enjoying a great stint at Z. Also, we had brand CMOs like Anjana Ghosh from Bisleri and Arvind RP from McDonald's West and South. Opening the season for us, Mr. Angad Bhatia, who is a very dynamic and intelligent personality, the founder of Men's XP, and currently the CEO of India Times Lifestyle Network. And as you know, I am your host, Mansi Sharma, welcoming you all, and especially Angad. Thank you so much for taking time out of your busy schedule for this.
Thank you for having me here, Mansi. Very excited.
There's just one little thing I would like to add to Angad's intro here right now. He is one person, I believe, who has foreseen the growth of the industry and the trends and technologies much ahead of his competitors. Well, he started Men's XP when there was literally no real competition in the market around. Then he created video properties with his channels, iDiva, Men's XP, and whatnot. When the video ecosystem was just booming within the country. And now he is very smartly dabbling into the content led commerce space. Again, no competitor of his is around the same area right now, but he is leading the trail there too. Starting off, Ankar, before we get into any discussion, please tell me how do you manage to do all of this? How did you decide that media was your calling and then just so many discoveries one after the other?
There are a bunch of questions rolled into one, so let me try and break them down. I started, in building a media platform back in 2009, and obviously the landscape of building media brands at that time was extremely different. Media brands were mainly built on the back of SEO that time, right? And SEO was sort of a long-term duration game. You had to build, plan, strategize your content basis the white spaces in, depending on the keyword searches happening, and also understand that was largely the desktop era, right? So, of course, building media brands today is a lot more democratic, with social media and so many other sort of discovery uh, tools and discovery platforms which are available, both in text, video, interactive. Content discovery is a lot more democratic, right? So I started off building the skill sets which would sort of help us, enable us to build not just Men's XP but also iDiva and India Times and What's and a few other of the media brands that we've really sort of been able to scale. As to how I manage them, I think I'm surrounded by, you know, a fantastic team, potentially some of the best in the industry in India today, as far as building a new media business is concerned. I have some of the best minds in the country who understand what it takes to not only build, industry leading, interactive, cutting edge uh, content for whatever brands that my heads of businesses and my editorial heads and my video heads are running, but they also understand the sort of cultural zeitgeist that is required to build these brands as sort of social phenomenons. I think I've managed to build a really exciting team, and yeah, it's been good.
As you rightly mentioned, that your brand understood the cultural phenomenon, the differences that work out. And typically, if I talk about myself, iDiva connected with me because it was very raw, it was very India centric, it was very Delhi centric. I mean, who doesn't know South Delhi girls and West Delhi girls and Gaurav Lakshe now. Two Indians. And but what I feel that within most of the properties that we see around, most of our cultural differences are still drawn from the Western counterparts. It's not very Indianized. Do you agree with me that there is a dearth of local Indian content into mainstream uh, digital India context, or do you think that there are enough things happening?
I would have agreed with you maybe 4 years, 3 years ago. Things are dramatically different for two reasons. One, the ecosystems that cater to various subcultures that exist in India, right? 22 plus languages and over 100 plus subcultures which exist just on YouTube today. I would have said that would have been true about 3 years back, but today I think the economics of becoming a creator online or creating content which culturally aligns with niche audience, the economics are there today. So things are fundamentally different. As far as the way we look at culture or internet culture or tapping into existing subcultures, is that we understand that our responsibility is not only just to create content for advertisers but genuinely to build a loyal community, and that's been sort of the foundation of whatever venture we forayed into, whether if it's commerce or whether if it's video or text or whatever platform that we've created content for. Our DNA has always been to create content which genuinely creates conversations, communities, and are at the sort of heart of the cultural zeitgeist of India. Video IPs like South Delhi Girls, Gaurav Lakshe, Raju Ki Mummy, and some of the other characters, they're all sort of embodiments of that sentiment. And we've practically taken the same learnings, have extended them into commerce as well.
And adding to that, apart from the cultural variety and whatever the various traditions and languages that we have talked about, there's another phenomenon that is on the rise, and that is being sensitive towards certain issues, be it environment, be it the women rights, LGBTQ rights. Everything is just so much more developed now. So, do you think, as content creators, or especially on lifestyle networks, there's more of a need to have more inclusive content and creators working towards that, not just promoting brands but also promoting the right brands who have a conscience, who know what are the things that are right and who are growing in an eco-friendly or society-friendly manner.
Yeah, I think so. One of the fascinating things about running a media company is that you get to create conversations which genuinely sort of connect with people. Now, I understand brands also try to tap into these progressive themes,
Yeah.
and at times they do get called out for that. The foundation with which we've built, say, brands like Men's XP and IDEVA, even India Times and What's Hot for that matter, they've been built on themes which genuinely create conversations and move the society forward in the right. It nudges the society forward in the right direction, right? So whether if it's the self-deprecating humor of Billy Masi and Raju Ki Mummy, who take a dig at the posh suburban life of South Delhi to essentially highlight some of the cliches which exist in our society, and thereby giving a chance for people to reflect on their own lives and potentially the underlying sort of society with which some of these cliches come about. I think these are all nothing but conversation starters. The Men's XP has championed inclusive masculinity, topics of feminism by IDEVA. These are all topics which we feel is going to help the society. We're going to help the society nudge forward a little bit. These are not just progressive themes for the sake of it, but generally belief systems that we've built our teams with as well, right? So, it's not so much about tapping into a trend of talking about environment or sustainability or, gender rights or inclusive masculinity, but more about the value systems with which we built our brands, the ethos and the style guides and the vision with which we've built our brands. It's more about that for us, actually. And that's sort of the foundation of our branded content as well. Brands, hundreds of brands work with us, and India's biggest, the world's biggest brands work with us to tap into people who are genuinely having these progressive conversations. It's not so much about tapping into uh, you know the existing progressive themes and the brands which tend to exploit them as just progressive themes do get called out. I think you need to have a belief system which is a little more, let's just say, long term than just tapping into a campaign. So I mean, being progressive is not a campaign for Ireland brands. It's something that the teams, it's what the brands genuinely believe in.
I'm glad that you mentioned Men's XP and how they are just getting in space of men grooming, makeup, and just embracing things that were once a taboo. Also, when I met you last year around same time in the month of June, July, we discussed in great depth about the content-led commerce venture of yours, and you had just soft launched mud products, which my brother and father, I'll tell you, absolutely loved. So within this 1 year, how did you see these products growing, the market growing, and how much of acceptance do you think you have gained from the consumers around it?
Yeah, I think some of the success for us has been really astounding to say the least. Mud grew in, say, about 8 months or 9 months of its existing. It grew a community of over like 100,000 people. We've had a business which, say, would uh, be competitive to some of the already existing men's grooming brands like a Beardo or a Bombay Shaving Company or an Ustra. So Mud has had a really crazy trajectory, and what's surprising to us was that we started India's first men's beauty company, right? And that was a conviction which was built on as much on social and cultural pillars that Men's XP as a brand believed in, as much as it was rooted into creating some of the best in class natural products for men's beauty, right? So it was a marriage of those two universes. Having said that, it was still a conviction that we had. It was still, a hypothesis that we wanted to test out with our community. It's one thing for our community to, come and engage in conversations around inclusive masculinity and men's beauty, but it's a whole other for that community to really rally behind a brand that you've launched and really sort of talk about it as if it's as much of a social movement as much as it is a brand that they want to keep in their sort of wardrobes and use them. So for us, I think the success of Men's XP Mud has been, extremely heartwarming. We maintain some of the highest reviews, on Facebook and Instagram. We have potentially some of the highest return users or repeat users for some of our products. We had a hero product amongst a mix called the Men's XP BB Cream, which really sort of caught the Instagram culture in India by storm. There are hundreds of reviews of the product on YouTube, and it was really sort of very heartwarming to see to get the community come and rally for the product on our behalf. So quite fascinating actually. Even we've listed over about 20,000 SKUs on Men's XP Shop since we launched back in June of 2019. We had ramped up until COVID. We had ramped up our daily orders to over like 1.5, 2,000, and it's been a really exciting time to witness the transformation of a new media company into a commerce company. The transformation for us, or the marriage of the harmony with which we've built new media and our commerce universes has been very exciting to see for us.
Commendable job on that part, and I've been following people who are promoting your products and the sort of pages that you have created. It's wonderful. It's very good thing that you have started something which is going to be the norm in the coming days. Coming coming back to the idea of content-led commerce, you have had bigger plans. You wanted to have, Idiba having its own range of products or Men's XP having their own brick and mortar shows. But do you think with COVID-19 changing the situation a little, people maybe preferring to shop online more? Do you think brick and mortar stores are going to be a concept, or is it going to be online completely? What are you envisioning for your own platform?
We definitely see a surge in demand. Um, and of course, the convenience of online is going to contribute to a major share in the industry. I think what we've done is that we've taken this opportunity to our advantage, and we've really thought very deeply about, look, if we have to create products which are genuinely going to one last longer, to be built on tenets of environment, affordability, and sort of they last longer. How can we create products which continue to create a lot of credibility, just like Mud did? I think with that, we've launched three fashion labels. We've launched in the last 5 or 6 months itself. We've launched three fashion labels. We've launched, I think, over about 18 or 19 of our own new original products. Um and I think we're fairly confident to see the way we are expanding Men's XP's commerce business, to really see it as potentially the biggest men's brand emerging out of both media and commerce in the country. So we're actually quite excited. Of course, our plans on brick and mortar stores, etc., may be derailed at the moment, and there have been few hiccups. Like for example, the demand of fashion products has taken a hit. Attention is more towards essentials, and for a brand which was built on accentuating your personality, we've really had to think hard about our role as a leading brand. But we've done that as we've changed course with some of our editorial work as well, right? So our consumption on media is up by almost 40%, whether if it's time spent or unique users. Uh, Similarly, I think a lot of our sourcing assumptions are changed now, and they look very different in a whatever during COVID or post-COVID world.
And if we just elaborate a little more on it, so as we had discussed also a little while back, now there is responsibility on brands to be more conscious, to be more eco-friendly. And you somewhere also mentioned in the conversation that you are aware, well and aware, and your brands are taking the lead in that direction. Can you just brief me more about the sort of products that you are planning to develop right now, and what sort of marketing voice or what sort of promotional voice you are thinking of to adapt going ahead?
I mean, so there's several. I think the way our model works, Mansi, is that we look at the white spaces that exist in the market through our own editorial work,
Yeah.
right? And then we would test that hypothesis by practically just asking our community, right? So we've asked our community multiple times if they would like product A or product B, and if there are enough sort of comments, or if there is enough engagement, and if our community rallies around a single product, we in about 3 or 4 weeks we turn it around. And I think that's the good part. We don't have a sort of a robust strategy to tell us what our sourcing should be, or we are not mining external data. All we are doing is mining our own data and figuring out what type of products we should be creating, what type of products we should be sourcing. So, I think because of COVID, things are rattled a little bit, of course. But for example, Mud has a new line of safe products. There's a dry hand wash. There are sanitizing sprays. So Mud has a separate line which caters to a very separate demand of products and needs of our customers. That one may argue is a little departure from where it started. It's a separate line which caters to a very different need. So similarly, I mean, even in fashion, even in our sourcing has changed from, we weren't going to do any say accessories Men's XP shop right now has thousands of hobby products, DIY kits,
Yes.
gardening tools, accessories to make your work life at home a little more, let's just say, functional. We have lamps. We have I think over like 1,000 types of lamps listed on Men's XP right now, and these are categories we wouldn't have thought that we would ever enter, or definitely not anytime soon. A lot of our fashion needs are now diverted into fabrics which are going to sustain uh, themselves from repeat washes, right? So, I mean, there's practically sort of these micro trends which have dramatically changed the way we think of the type of products we list on our shop.
And if we talk about the scope of other brands partnering with you, because content integration and promotion is on a huge rise these days, and I believe that COVID also has accelerated that process with most of the mainline, advertising agency functions taking a hit because of it. And I guess the brands have got a taste of even those brands which were not earlier on these platforms have got a taste of how easy it is to reach the more targeted consumer or to have a voice of its own when you are doing it digitally in form of content integration. So when it comes to content-led commerce, you have your own brands and you have your own editorial department looking into the things. How will the brand integrations of future work?
Right. So I think I started my conversation with this. Island essentially runs four companies today. We run a digital media slash publishing company called Island Media. We run a studio
Yeah,
called Island Studio. We are probably the third largest
yeah,
multi-channel network in the country, second or third largest. We compete head-on with Dice Media, the Viral Fever, and then it's likely Island Studio. Our third business is called Hype. Hype is an influencer management business where we manage a lot of the talent that you mentioned during the course of this interview. And the fourth business is the commerce business. So it's the amalgamation of these four universes which essentially builds Ireland. Now, the impact and the philosophy with which we've built all of these businesses is actually, uh, they all actually work on the same tenets, that we are the, sort of conversation starters about culture. We are the culture conversation starters, right? And there are certain topics that all of our channels uh, genuinely sort of care about, and then we go out and build programming around. So whether if it's talking about inclusive masculinity on Men's XP, or whether if it's pushing the society forward on India Times on around stories that genuinely matter to this generation, or whether if it's similar such progressive themes on IDEVA. These are essentially the foundation or building blocks of all of our branded content. Now, with that, what we've done is we've built a publishing company where our .com businesses, Men's XP and IDEVA and India Times and What's Hot, cumulatively do over almost 55 million unique users a month. Right? We're number one in the lifestyle category as per Comscore, and we are our DAUs are close to around 3.5 4 million. MAUs are about, as I mentioned, 55 million. And this content essentially is 100% exclusive. We don't do agency feeds. uh, we've built a fairly strong branded content business on the back of our digital media or Island Media and Island Studio on the same tenets, right? The tenets of culture which I mentioned. So essentially, that hasn't really changed from the day we started. That brands tap into us, they access either our IPs on social media. You mentioned South Delhi Girls or Honest Reviews, uh, and we have dedicated editorial teams who understand that the more forward-looking brands want to partake in these social conversations as opposed to just sort of plaster their message. They understand that being part of a conversation or associating yourself, uh, in a community which is going to have a certain type of conversations is going to help them project an image that they want to project as well, right? So whether if it's, we in fact just did a campaign, Men's XP did a campaign for Philips, which has over 20 million video views, over 100,000 shares, and over like 60,000 comments on it, right? And this is a piece of branded content. This is not editorial which has gone viral. It's a piece of branded content which is viral. Now, what we've been able to do in our universe very, very differently is that a lot of the conversations that we create really understand that brands are an integral part of our lives, and that we don't have to beat around the bush. We upfront tag the brands. So, you know, if you go and check this video content out, it will say Men's XP with Philips. It's right there. And despite that, the consumption and the engagement and the sharing of this content is so huge, because people understand that great consumer brands in the country have a role to play in our lives, and if they are partaking in conversations around, in this particular case they had a conversation around the different behaviors of fathers of back then versus now, and how life has changed. um, Somehow what hasn't changed is the need for us to use certain amount of consumer products. And it's a really heartwarming story, and that's essentially what we do, whether if it's on text or video, or now even to a certain extent commerce.
Moving ahead, we have talked a lot about the content, we have talked a lot about the commerce part, and how you are mixing all of it up together. Now, going ahead, what we are seeing is another trend, maybe two, three trends which are going towards one single objective now. One is we are seeing in India very nationalist approach to media now, with TikTok being banned as one of the examples. And then other is advertisers being more aware. They have been pulling away their ads from Facebook internationally. So what does this whole new sort of things that are happening, a gamut of things that's happening right now, mean for businesses like you? Do you see it as a challenge? Do you see it as an opportunity? Do you see that you will have to change certain aspects of your business because you're also managing a lot of influencers right now?
I think some of the bigger, uh, you know, advertisers which are pulling off from Facebook, their reasons are, varied. However, the consistent thread which runs across all of these brands is that they are concerned about data privacy. I
Yeah.
think that's the foundation of this entire movement. Now, if you were to ask any brand, they would say that there are the advantages to social media for brands far outweigh some of the recent disadvantages. And for me, I'm a huge proponent and a huge believer in the strength of social media for good. And I feel that there are new industries which have been born because of it. The entire direct to consumer category globally has been born. Great companies like Casper, to Glossier, to I don't know, in India Nicobar, to Men's XP, to Ustra, to Bombay Shaving Company, to Jimmy's Cocktails, to some of the really really compelling companies that have been born and have been made possible because Instagram and Facebook and other social platforms have really democratized the way people reach out to consumers,
Yeah.
right? They've broken down the old guards of retail, and they've built businesses which didn't have to rely on middlemen padding margins. So
Yeah.
I'm a huge believer that the social media, when used for good, can have a huge, uh, you know, positive change for consumers in general. And we've seen that India has created some of the most prolific brands in the last 2 to 3 years, right? And instead of adding say about 100 or 200 new brands every year. We now add 500 new brands every year.
Yeah.
Right. So I think it's been very, very fascinating to watch. However, as brands get bigger, they also understand that a lot of conversations that they are creating can also be had, through other channels, through other means. I think social media itself is also getting disrupted. There is a potential to build micro communities and micro engagement programs, and you don't have to rely on the walled gardens of Facebook and Instagram to really build your own audiences. You can do them on potentially a platform that you create from scratch. And I think a lot of these platforms and a lot of these sort of boycott movements are done keeping not only data privacy, but their potential to have these conversation on other avenues through other channels.
Yeah.
But I think my short answer is that I am a big proponent of social media, having invested and practically built all of our businesses, which are fundamentally sort of working in tandem with social media. We're a platform agnostic business. So if there is a platform which has scaled, whether if it's Instagram or Facebook or YouTube and some of the leading OTT players in the country, you will find shows and commentaries and perspectives and content which is created by IMN.
And do we expect you to come out with your own platforms for user-generated content? Something? Are you planning something, or would you be willing to go in that line of the business?
No, we have no such plans right now. We are a content company, and a lot of our content and all of our content is built around the communities that we own. So as long as we feel that we are able to create a community, whether if it's someone else's platform or tomorrow maybe our own platform as well, we will happily build that. I think right now we've built Men's XP, IDEVA, India Times as fantastic media brands, which have a potential to, potentially create user-generated content on them. But we have no intentions around that right now.
Just to sum up the whole conversation, my last question to you is, where do you see ILN Network and your content-led commerce initiative being headed in the next 2 to 3 years? What sort of plans you have in place? And as you mentioned that some of them were impacted because of the COVID situation, but what's the larger picture for you?
Yeah, so I think it's a great question. So I'll try and like sort of sum up who we are and where we're sort of headed. So our the iron business essentially sits at this unique nexus of massive reach and cultural relevancy. Where sort of, if you were to plot this out on a Venn diagram, it would be the intersection of new media and commerce.
Yeah.
Now, on the new media side, our business is driven by 100% original content, our video IPs, our characters, whether if it's South Delhi Girls or Honest Reviews, are amazing brands which attract hundreds and millions of viewers and 50, 60 million unique readers, so on and so forth. Our new media business is fairly well established. On the e-commerce side, we are really inspired by this new generation of digitally native media plus commerce brands, and it's the sort of intersection of these two universes, which is sort of the building blocks for IMN. Now, Mansi, I think I mentioned this when we met last time as well. That look, on the new media side, we've built a lot of massive reach and cultural relevancy amongst India's youth. And with them, we've built a solid footprint that delivers, huge results. And we're continuing to build that business towards a lot of profitability. About 35, 40% year-on-year growth on the new media side. Now, on the on the commerce side, we understand that the role that we have to play as a network is much larger than what meets the eye right now. I think we to a certain extent, we're already the face of content commerce in India. And we want to ensure that the communities that we're building around men and women are some of the biggest opportunities that we've created. Eventually, what we're doing is that we are operating in almost a if you look at the numbers of FY25, an $18 billion opportunity between Men's XP and IDEVA pouring into content commerce, and we're looking to build at least I would say we're a minicorn right now, but our ambition is to become a unicorn in the next 3 to 4 years. And I think we are well positioned to do that. Our teams are well positioned to do that. Our commerce ambitions are intact. Our teams are intact. We've had some of the best people in the industry. Our demands are at times more than what we can fulfill. So, I think for us, it's a very humbling experience to see that we've spent the last 4 to 5 years in building these platforms out. And now to see their business models truly emerge in a very rapid space is where we are, you know, at the moment.
Well, all the best for that, and I'm sure that
Yes.
you are going to lead the industry in a bigger and a better manner coming in the coming few years. Thank you so much for your time, Angad, and joining me on the
Thank
opening
you.
episode of this season 2 of Media Minds. It's always a
Thank you
delight to
so
talk to
much.
you.
Yes, thank you, Mansi.